Hello traders, today we are gonna look at some new FTMO accounts. Once again, hello traders, I'm Simon from FTMO, and if you are new here, what we are doing is that we are providing initial balance to experienced traders. Today's video is gonna be a little bit special because after a long time we are gonna look at more FTMO accounts. So that means that these traders have been through the trenches, they have been through the whole evaluation process, and now they are trading when the stakes are quite high. And already you can see that the payout ratio right here is 70 to 30. This is gonna change, but these traders, or rather some of these traders, have started trading before the update. So it's gonna be updated as well, but for this month, not yet. And this first account is traded on CTrader, managing astounding $400,000. And the balance curve looks really great. This trader generated $40,000 already, which is absolutely great. That's 10% of the account size. So if he or she keeps it up, that's gonna be really great. We can see that max daily loss and neither max loss are an issue here, which is great. And the profit, as we already mentioned, is $40,000. Now, if you wanna calculate the payout, simply take this number and multiply it by 0.7, and that's the commission. 27 trades is not a whole lot, but at the same time there is no minimum trading days objective. So maybe this trader is sitting on the charts and waiting whole day for those amazing opportunities and entry points to happen. On the other hand, this volume is quite large, that's almost 800 lots. The win rate though is 70%, so that's really good. And with average risk reward ratio, that is 1.4, that's just amazing. Even right here, it's apparent that this trader is using huge volume per one position. So we are gonna look at the instruments later, but so far we can see mostly profits, except for the start of the trading period, but that's fine. And mostly we can see just Forex being traded. No stop losses, no take profits for some reason, but somehow it works, so that's just fine. And yeah, as I already mentioned, this is quite a huge volume per position. And at the same time, this means that this trader doesn't have to wait for huge movements in the charts, just a few pips, and this trader can get some really nice gains. Most profits are made on buying. There is a net loss on selling, not a huge one though. And the single most profitable instrument here is Euro USD, then is GJ, but basically this trader specializes just on these two instruments, so that's great. And overall, this is some great trading. The only thing that disturbs me a little bit is the lack of stop losses and take profits, but maybe this trader is managing the risks some other way. We don't really know. This is the second account that we are going to look at. Now, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but you can see that we have hidden all the numbers of these accounts. This is of course because we don't want to put more pressure on these traders because of course stakes are quite high, so there is no reason to show them. This time the account type is swing and the size is $200,000. The chart is more wild, more of a roller coaster right here, because there are quite many dips and spikes, but we can still see the growth, so that's what really counts. Max daily loss was actually getting closer than the previous trader, for example. Max loss is just fine, and the profit is 10% of the entire account size, so that's great. This trader executed 3 times the number of the previous trader, so that's 83 trades using 550 lots. Win rate is 64%, and the average risk reward ratio is under 1. So there is definitely room to improve right here, for example, though with this win rate, it's gonna work anyway. Daily summary is way more colorful than the previous one. There is also not that huge of a volume per position, which makes sense because there are way more trades. And this time we can also see more instruments. So not only is it Forex, but also gold, for example, right here, and also indices. What I like here is that there are stop losses and take profits utilized almost all the time. There is an exception, for example, right here or right here, but these positions are not as significant, though the volume is pretty similar to regular positions. So I am not really sure what's the deal with these positions. And when we scroll down here, we can see that selling dominates and the single most profitable instrument is British pound and US dollar. Also, if there is one instrument that perhaps this trader could avoid, it would be GJ. Because this is minus almost $9,000. But as always, this is up to the trader to decide. This is not up to us. But these charts and this analysis is useful for this reason. But maybe this is gonna turn around. We never know. On the third account, we can finally see that the payout ratio is correct. That is 80 to 20. This is for $200,000 as well on FTMO account type. The beginning of the trading period isn't that great. Also, there are some huge dips, for example, right here from $8,500 to just $1,500. So that's a huge loss. But after some more trades, this trader is currently sitting at almost $30,000 profit. And even though the chart looks quite wild, the objectives aren't as bad. So for example, max daily loss just got barely above 50%, and for the max loss, it got barely above 25%. So that's quite okay. So far, 45 trades have been executed using 540 lots. The win rate is barely above 50%, but with average risk-reward ratio that is 1.6, it's working just fine. Profits and losses are distributed quite nicely actually, so it's not like all the losses are stacked in the beginning of the trading period, although there is a huge loss in the beginning, but even the volume is very nicely distributed across the entire trading period, so that's something that we always like to see. Once more, just a bunch of instruments being traded. Cannot see a clear pattern in the specialization. There is gold, there is forex, and that's actually pretty much it. And this trader is using stop losses for the most part, sometimes not, and sometimes he or she does use those take profits, and once again, sometimes not really. So that's about 50% of the time for the take profits. The winner here is buying, but selling is profitable as well. And here, the single most profitable instrument is gold. So even though it looks like this trader is just trading a bunch of stuff, maybe the specialization is really gold. But to find that out, we would have to actually go through the entire trading journal, but we don't really have time for that. But as a whole, very nice trading, very nice distribution in the volume, and quite nice average risk-reward ratio. This is another account, and this time this is for 160,000 euros. And the chart just looks like a mess. So this actually means that many trades have been executed, and it's a wild ride, let me tell you that, because for example, from here to here, that's a loss of almost 10,000 euros as far as I can see. Yeah, about that. And there are multiple of these dips and spikes, so that's quite spicy. Now, as I see the trading objectives, this was really close to being breached. There was basically 90 euros left to not breach it. Max loss is just fine, and the profit is currently sitting at 22,700 euros. 313 trades is quite high when you compare it to the other accounts, and volume used is 3,341 lots. So that's quite high. The win rate here is 64%, and the average risk-reward ratio is definitely something to improve. That is 0.68. Now these two numbers together still clearly work, because otherwise we wouldn't be sitting here and talking about this account, right? But the average risk-reward ratio really could use some improvement. Either way, looking at the daily summary, we can see that the distribution of volume is actually split somewhat nicely across all days, so there is no issue with that. And the profits and losses are split nicely as well. So yeah, actually that is quite good. As far as I can see, there is basically one instrument being traded, and that's DAX. So we are clearly looking at a specialist. He or she is using stop losses all the time, and take profits actually majority of the time. And almost always this trader uses 10 lots per position. I'm saying almost always because when you divide this number by this number, it doesn't add up. There is a net profit on selling and net loss on buying somehow. And yeah, pretty much the only profits are generated on DAX. There were some really minor positions on Euro USD, but that's not really significant, so not even worth talking about. So once more, if there is one thing to improve on this account, I already said it, it's this quite low average risk reward ratio. But if this trader keeps it as it is right now, in the long run, it's gonna be profitable as well. So as always, it's in the hands of trader. And this is the final account that we are gonna look at. Right away, the chart is way more calm. And this might be because this is a swing account, and for just $100,000, max daily loss is not an issue here, and neither is max loss, and the profit is sitting currently at very nice $20,000, which is actually 20% of this amount. There have been 116 positions executed, which is maybe a little bit higher when you consider that this trader has been trading for a little bit over a month. Anyway, there have been 642 lots used. The win rate is 44%, and the average risk reward ratio is 2.35. And these stats are way more comfortable for me, at least, because when this trader is winning, and mind you, this trader is not winning as often as the previous one, but when he is winning way more. The daily summary looks just fine to me. As far as I can see, there are actually quite many positions stacked in the beginning of the trading period. This might be because the trader was already excited to start trading on the FTMO account, so this just makes sense. I cannot see a clear specialization here. I mean, there is a lot of gold traded here, don't get me wrong, but there is also some Forex, and at the same time, there have been 313 positions executed, so this doesn't really tell us a whole lot. Either way, this trader is not really consistent with the stop losses and take profits somehow. So there is that. There is a nice split of profits in selling and buying, which are somewhat equal. And actually, the most profitable instrument here is British Pound and Australian Dollar. Interesting, I expected it to be gold actually. So yeah, this is pretty consistent trading right here, which is something that we always like in FTMO. And I think that this is it for this one. And with that, this is the end of the video. So as always, I hope that you traders got something out of it. As always, you can leave some feedback down in the comment section. Don't forget to follow FTMO on all social media and subscribe to our FTMO YouTube channel. And as always, trade safe.